an entourage. There would have been a retinue of at least, 150 maybe? So give it a couple of generations, 500 is not a number, not much at all. Go ahead, sir. বুঝতে পারছেন বলতে পারছে না So there are two answers to your question. I won't go into the politics of it, but there are two categories of Armenians at the moment. If you turn around and look to your right, my wife is sitting behind you. If you count Armenians like her, there are about 5,000 Armenians in the city, in this city alone. But you could most likely walk up to them and tell them they are Armenian, and they will argue with you and say, no, I am not. Like my wife, they were baptized Catholic. Slowly, they've amalgamated into the Anglo-Indian community. They never studied at the school, they never learned the language, they were never baptized at the church, so they drifted off, and the nearest community they could assimilate to were the Anglo-Indians. In terms of the thoroughbred, the Brahmins of the Armenian community, people like myself who were baptized, went to the school, speak the language, there are less than 40. Less than 40. In total across India, there's probably less than 80. Within 100 years, there won't be any of us left. Somebody at the back put their hand. Sir, sorry.
Where Mr. Goldstone was buried?
The Armenian church in Barbaza. Yeah, he's buried there.
On Brabant Road.
On Brabant Road, correct. I am working on it. Bear with me.
We'll get back to you. First you and then you.
And there's a couple of people on the left here as well.
আমি বাংলাতেই বলছি
বলুন বলুন
দীপেন্দু চৌধুরী প্রশ্নটা যে আমরা কলকাতায় যারা আছি বা পশ্চিমবঙ্গে যারা আছি ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গলে যারা আছি তারা ইতিহাসের ছাত্র হই বা সাহিত্যের ছাত্র হই আমরা একটা জিনিস খুব লক্ষ্য করেছি যে অন্যান্য সম্প্রদায় বা জাতি তাদেরকে কমিউনিটির ক্ষেত্রে হ্যাঁ তাদের যতটা আমরা খবর পেয়েছি বা জানি আজকে আপনার কাছ থেকে যেটা জানতে পারলাম আর্মেনিয়ানদের বিষয়ে আর্মেনিয়ানদের নিয়ে কেন কোনো রকম প্রচার বা ইতিহাসকে সেভাবে সামনে আনা যেটা প্রশ্ন করলেন একজন কোনো বই আছে কি না হ্যাঁ বা আমরা জানতে পারলাম এখান থেকে যে আপনি এই সময় একটা লিখেছেন বা টাইমস অফ ইন্ডিয়া লেখা প্রকাশ হয়েছে আনন্দবাজার লেখা আমি নিজেই পড়েছি এটার কারণটা কি কোথাও কি সভ্যতার কোনো একটা জায়গায় সংঘাত আছে ক্ল্যাশ অফ সিভিলাইজেশনের কথা জায়গাটা যে সেখান থেকে আটকে যাচ্ছে
Right, we get your question. The question is that among all the communities whom we find in Bengal, why are the Armenians the least written about and the least known? And is there a clash of civilizations behind this in any way?
The quick answer is that we had one and only one interest, which was making money. A recent friend that I've made, she asked me the same question just a couple of days ago with regard to the buildings we had constructed. Do they have any architectural features? Can you look at them and point out to them and say, yes, look, this is an Armenian building? Not at all. We wanted maximum floor space, the maximum amount of commercial space that we could get. So we weren't interested in anything else. And we were and still are very, very we have a very closed door mentality. So we go to our own churches, we have our own club on Park Street, we have our own sports club in the Maidan. We've donated money to a number of hospitals around the city, so we only go to those hospitals. Apart from making money, we had no other interests. So we kept a very, very low profile. Apart from, one or two others who became, lawyers or whatnot, nothing else. We were in it for the money. Everybody was happy to work with us, the Hindus, the Muslims, the company, because we didn't convert. Yeah? Right through the mutiny, we just sat back. We didn't fight with anybody, nor did we fight for anybody. We had no involvement in it. Because we don't convert and we don't accept convertees, we were friends with everybody, so we made money from everybody. I say this absolutely lightheartedly, but I always tell Marwari friends of mine, before you were Marwaris, we were the Marwaris of India. Absolutely, maybe that's why we ran away from there.
Okay, now my question is, you said you don't convert or don't allow convertees. So what about children, like Parsis? I mean, now you're allowing them to be Armenians?
Not at
Do you
all.
have a conversion ceremony?
No, not at all. So the only way your child can be baptized an Armenian is if his father was baptized an Armenian.
So your children are Armenians?
No,
Baptized?
they were baptized Catholic, again, just for the sake of convenience.
Convenience?
Yeah, yeah. Dada, bolun.
You see, it seems like most of the Armenians, they are in Calcutta or in Bombay. Some of them have left. Because
Correct,
they're dwindled.
correct.
But it is Akbar who brought the Persians and the Armenians. So is there a sizable population in Delhi or any other place? Or it is only in Calcutta that the diaspora is there?
Surat, Bombay, Calcutta. These were the three hubs, trading hubs. Delhi was a governance hub. It wasn't really a trading hub. So if you follow where the money was, you'll find the Armenians lurking in the background, hanging on to everybody's money. So,
So thank you for presenting us such a wonderful presentation on the Armenians of Calcutta. One point that you told that in 149 BC, a controversial issue, there were 5,000 Hindus in Armenia and wiped out by St. Gregory. So is there any archaeological evidences of it? So can you expedite?
very much so. So there are a number of ancient churches in Armenia that, how can I explain it to you? Say, for example, Harappa, okay? There's a huge conversation in India about some of the symbols found at Harappa, all right? Some people say, you know, this was at a time before what we know as Hinduism today, but a lot of Hindus say, no, that was the beginning of Hinduism, right? So same thing with Armenia. There are a number of very, very old churches that look remarkably like Hindu temples, okay? And they've got strange symbology that has nothing to do with Christianity. Cows, bulls' heads with the horns, right? That has nothing to do with Christians, okay? But of course, because we are an Orthodox church, there is absolutely no scope for a discussion, deliberation, exploration, nothing. We are, you know, when we talk about women priests or, you know, allowing people of other genders to marry each other, whatnot, in other branches of the church it's possible. In the Armenian church, it's not even a conversation to be had. So for this reason, that's not explored. But it won't take much for you to Google. Just type in Hindus in Armenia, you'll get loads of stuff coming up, including archaeological evidence of that.
Sir, I'm Gautam Bandyopadhyay. I've gone to a church. I saw some plaques there. The Armenians from Dhaka.
Yeah.
Dhaka.
Yeah.
So I searched in Google. I saw that that Armenian church in Dhaka is very deserted and isolated. Can you put any light on it?
There's none of us there, that's why. So there's this one, so the way our church works is that wherever there is a church, we don't have one priest, we have two priests, a senior priest and a junior priest, okay? So at the moment, there is only one set of priests, and they are here in Calcutta. And every weekend, we have a different church service at different churches. So one will be Barabazar, the other will be Tengra, the following weekend will be Park Circus, and it keeps rotating. In that rotation, once a month, once every 6 weeks, the two priests fly out to Dhaka because there's like 20 Armenians left there. So just to keep...
Very much isolated.
Correct.
Very much
There's
isolated.
hardly any of them left there. So once every 6 weeks, they might fly out there just to hold the service and make sure the flame keeps burning.
So there was the exchange of business between Dhaka and Calcutta with the Armenian people.
No, not within themselves, with others. We couldn't make money from each other because we'd rob each other. So we sold to others.
That I want to say that's a business. Dhaka was a business place.
Absolutely, only
Exchange
business.
of businesses.
Yeah. Which is why you
this
won't
is
find
why I
us
want to say that.
in agriculture or anything else. You'll only ever find us where there's a lot of money to be made.
Say that. Dhaka was also a business place. Calcutta business place.
Correct.
Exchange of businesses.
Correct.
This
Correct.
much I want to say that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for your illuminating lecture. I am A.K. Datta. In search of the oldest church in Kolkata, I located this Armenian church in Barabajar, which is almost now hidden in an array of shops.
And plastic
And
gold
there,
bangles.
yes, and there I was astonished to see the memorial in which it was specified that 1 million Armenians were killed or butchered rather during that 1915. Can you please throw some light on that genocide, how it happened, why it happened, and what was the reason for this?
So it was the expanding Turkish Ottoman Empire. Um, the, um, the Armenian nation was at least 4 times larger than it is today. But people like Ataturk were trying to establish this Ottoman Empire. So he literally, there's nothing else to call it. He just wiped out the Armenians that were there, and overnight, a bit like Hitler and his policy of Lebensraum, I believe he called it, that where there are Turks, correct, where there are Turks, that is Turkey. It was as simple as that. And if you are anything other than Islamic Turkish, well then you're up for slaughter. And that's what happened. There's nothing huge to explain about it. It was simple as where there are Turks, that is Turkey. Anybody else, you will be wiped out. Leave or you get wiped out. And overnight, the slaughtering started. There was. In fact, we covered this a couple of weeks ago right here. There were vengeance, there were resistance there. We got a lot of help from the Israelis, who obviously had suffered a lot. And there were revenge assassinations taking place around the world. A lot of these people met their end at the hands of an Armenian at some point or another. Ma'am, please, go ahead.
I must say. I'm just curious, you said that the Freemasons Hall was funded by you people, Armenians.
No, we sold them the plot.
You sold them the plot. So did any of y'all ever believe in the Freemason ideology, or any of y'all became a member of the Freemason club?
Who? Sorry? You are a Freemason. Yeah, I am. I joined in London. I'm not very senior, I'm quite junior, but yes, quite a large number. So Sir Paul Chater, he was quite a famous and senior Freemason. Probably the most senior Freemason we've seen was my old principal at Armenian College. His name was Vahan Poladian. And if you go to Freemasons Hall today, there's what do you call it, the list of all the names of all the senior Freemasons. You'll find his name on there. If you go into the office, they've got quite a large portrait of him in there. So yeah, we had no problems joining the Freemasons. I'm a member. I've been a member since 2007.
Okay, so there is no clash of ideology with...
Not with the Freemasons, there is with the church.
Okay.
It's a beautiful church. They're very well looked after. And we were told that that was a trading post. And there were many old headstones laid there in Kachim Bajar.
And there was a church there, an Armenian church?
Yes.
So that's probably the Chinsura church, right?
No, Kachim Bajar. It's near Murshidabad.
Would that be close to Saidabad?
I don't know, Shaidabad.
Because we have a church in Saidabad. Apart from that, I'm not aware of any church as such in Qasim Bazaar. But you'll find strange things. Say, for example, if you go to the Murghihata Church, the Cathedral of the Most Holy Rosary in Barabazar, if you go into the church, I'm not talking about the grounds, go into the church itself, you'll find going all the way around the seating area, you'll find Armenian graves with Armenian script. So I'm not surprised to hear that.
The music teacher from Lamatnia, he was with us, so
right.
You could ask him.
All right.
Right, we have last couple of questions from here. Yeah.
So would you like to explain this strange phenomenon of Armenians dying out, not being Armenians and wanting to be baptized Christians, and so therefore not being recognized as Armenians? What is the reason for that? Why are they not baptizing themselves as Armenians or going to the Armenian church and baptizing themselves?
To preserve the dignity and the neutrality of Victoria Memorial Hall, I will keep that answer very, very short. I'll leave it to you to connect the dots, okay? It's a highly controversial point, but I'll leave it to you to connect the dots. Armenia as a nation today is somewhere on the verge of bankruptcy. They have no manufacturing, they have no oil, gas, no nothing. There's nothing going on there, all right? Those who were capable or had some kind of business acumen left and came here. And as you've seen this evening, we came out here and we made a lot of money, and we established ourselves here in our new home, and we were welcomed by the Indians here. As a consequence of that, there are these small diaspora pockets of Armenians across India. Say, for example, in Mumbai, Amartya was talking about Mumbai. You were talking about the Armenian music teacher who had taken you to Murshidabad. So the Armenians at Armenian College at the moment are Armenians from Armenia. Okay, they fly in as teachers, they're flown in to study there, and they fly back out again. They're not Armenians like us. So when I get asked questions, what kind of food do you eat at home? I'm as much litti choka machir jhol as anybody else in this room. I don't know anything else. So the only connection we have to the church, to the country, I'm sorry, you've got the diaspora here. The only connection we have to Armenia, the nation, is the church. We have our own church, which has its tentacles in each one of these pockets of the diaspora around the world. How do you get that money out? You stop people coming to church. How do you stop people coming to church? You stop them being baptized. After a while, I'm cutting this short here, you just move the money back to Armenia, because legally, you are the only legal representative of Armenia left, and in terms of religion, the mother church, just like the Vatican is in Rome, the mother church for Armenians is in Yerevan. So on religious grounds and on nationality grounds, Armenia declares itself as the only representative of the Armenian people around the world. They move this money back there, completely legally, I might add.
Where is Armenia exactly located?
I had a map up earlier.
Can
Right next to Turkey, Iran, Black Sea, that area there. It used to be part of the old USSR. We left, became independent. Sorry, there's a gentleman behind you, I think.
Okay, J.C. Goldstone built, among so many other buildings in Calcutta, all of Baliganj as your
He owned the entire plot.
Right.
So he did what developers do today, buy a huge plot, fill in the ponds, put something up.
Okay, so what are the prominent buildings there built by him, and which year?
We don't know of too many buildings. There's a wonderful IPS officer, batchmate of Dr. Sengupta, Shoman Mitra. So he gave me a clue once. He told me that his in-laws, they bought their house, his father-in-law and mother-in-law, from J.C. Goldstone himself, and they've got the original documents. So that was the only live example I knew of. The other bit that's myth that I haven't been able to confirm due to a lack of access is that the Chief Justice's residence was built by him. But again, you imagine Chief Justice residence, they don't allow people in, so I've not been able to verify that. So apart from this property, which is on Palm Avenue, and the Chief Justice residence, apart from that, I don't know of anything else. What I do know is what we know as Queen's Park in Baliganj. That was also Goldstone Park. There were two Goldstone Parks. One was Nizam Palace, one is Queen's Park. Why Queen's Park? So Nizam Palace, for example, was sold by Goldstone's son to the Nizam of Hyderabad. Rumor has it he lost it in a card game. J.C. Goldstone's son lost Goldstone Park in a card game to the son of the last Nizam of Hyderabad. So obviously they then renamed it from Goldstone Park to Nizam Palace. Then Indira Gandhi comes along, kicks all of them out. So the central government have it now, income tax, and other people we don't like to talk to. And with regard to Queen's Mansions, again, that was sold to the LIC pre-independence. So they slapped a name on it in honor of Queen Victoria. And I'd like to say I'm leading a lobby. I'm the only person in the lobby trying to get the old Indian name back, Goldstone Mansions. He was an Indian. He died here. He made his money here. Let's give it its Indian name back. Why is it still named after a British queen?
One more quick question. Other than Calcutta, what are the other places where Armenians built so much?
All the hubs. So you go to Dhaka, you go to Calcutta, you go to Bombay, you go to Madras, you go to Surat. all the trading hubs, if you look at the trading hubs during the colonial years, you'll find Armenians there. Almost always, inevitably, you will find an Armenian street, at least. There's a chapel, a Marty Rose's chapel, which is the oldest Christian structure in northern India, in Agra. So look for the trading hubs, you will find Armenians.
That was the last question.
Talking about the hubs, Murshidabad at one point of time was almost a cosmopolitan city. And so, is there any...
He's speaking to the mic.
So, is there any history of the Armenians in the financial circuit at that time?
No, again, Murshidabad, a bit like Delhi, was more of a governance hub rather than a business or trading hub, which is why you won't find many Armenians there. Go to the port areas, the trading areas, you'll find them there. You won't find them in the governance areas.
My neighbors were Armenians. Father was a very successful clearing agent, and the sons Levon and Baruch Aratuns grew up with me in Calcutta. So there was one example of very successful Armenian in trading.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. Gentleman at the front here, somebody was wanting to ask, sir?